Welcome to 246 Dino. I'm carrying on with the project of turning this road car engine into a racing car engine. Luckily on the back of this camshaft we've got a cam position sensor which tells ECU what the engine's doing. We don't need that because we're not running an ECU. So we can take it off and sort of get rid of most of it. And in the back of the left hand exhaust cam there's a little drive slot which will drive a distributor, which we can put here. We just need to make get one and make one that fits. Now, slightly challenging because it needs to be ideally flange mounted rather than out on a big stick. 6-cylinder and counterclockwise. The direction counts for the mechanical centrifugal advance mechanism that old distributors have. All of these problems, and I'm also not a big fan of points and condensers because they're a bit inconsistent, but all of these problems are solved by what's in this box, which is a thing called a 123 distributor, as you can see, made in Holland, I believe, which is fully electronic. Inside here is the electronic ignition module, as you might mount somewhere else on the car, but it's all in there. The advance curve is built in, so don't need to worry about that. It'll run clockwise or counterclockwise. Yeah, good thing. All I've got to do is get rid of all this gubbins so I can plug it in nice and close and we're away. Moving right along, I managed to get it all apart and voided my warranty in the process, probably the least of my problems. And the really cool thing, this comes apart, which is nice. The shaft is just a bit of mild steel, so I can shorten it and put the Suzuki drive peg on there. And this thing goes on there as if it was designed to live there. Incredible. Okay, well, that Suzuki bit's now been bored out suitably. That distributor bit's now been chopped off and remachined suitably. That's the go. Just need to modify the distributor shaft to put the Suzuki drive tang on it, and we're done. And find a way of locking that up, but that's not challenging. Distributor done. The other thing I forgot to mention about the distributor, and the reason, another advantage of going this solution, the built into here, this particular model, is a rev limiter, which saves having that separate as well. So overall, for the price, fantastic solution. Well, after what's been quite a busy morning, there's our bored out Suzuki bracket. There's our shortened distributor. Just need to get a little pin across there to locate the Suzuki drive lug to go in the camshaft. It goes in there. What a beauty! As you can see, we've moved into the house because the next step in getting our little distributor installed is plugging it in to a laptop, downloading the 123 software, going to settings and putting in the advance curve that I want, which goes from 0 advance at 1000 RPM up to 24 at 4000. So if I set it 10 degrees static, it'll be 34 at 4000, all the way up to the rev limit at 7000. And by popping that into the distributor, that's what we'll get. And you can modify that any time while the distributor's on the car. Pretty handy. Nice work, guys. I believe when it's running, these things might move, which would be cool. So, final word on our distributor. By connecting the wires up to a battery, getting slightly ahead of myself, but I've been able to set the ignition timing. The engine's at 10 degrees before top center, and there's a little green light in there that goes off when you rotate the distributor clockwise rather, and there's still plenty of adjustment left in these slots, so when we get it all running and have a timing light, we can do it finally. And the other little thing, the nice people at 123 have been able to supply me with a black distributor cap instead of the red one that was on there before, which is more in keeping with the original Ferrari look, because it no doubt would have been a magnetic Morelli distributor, and I know from photos it was black. Now, a little aside in the workshop here, I use quite a lot of this 20 by 20 steel for jigs and things. I mean, when you want to cut it off square, with a saw obviously it doesn't work out that great, and you've got to try and square it up with a file. But if you don't have a 4-jaw chuck, this is a 3-jaw chuck, so obviously when you put it in there it doesn't end up in the middle, and when it spins around it goes sort of up and down all over the place. But the end is still square to the axis of the lathe. So if you want to face it off, like so, and you end up with it nice and flat and square, like so. Another little thing I've done there is put a big countersink around the bolt hole, so that when it's bolted down it sits around the outside and not doesn't rock about on the bolt. Very good little feature. Thank you, Mr. Cosworth.